Here's video number 2 of what to do when you're weaving and you need to start a new piece of yarn. So you can see I have my first piece all woven in. Even though I have a little bitty piece right here, I went ahead and wove it as far as I could. I'm just going to kind of tuck that in. Can you see my warp peeking through right here? Here's the crazy thing about weaving. As soon as you get one done, you are supposed to push it all the way down as tight as it will go so that you completely cover your warp thread. So when you look now, you don't see yellow kind of peeking out everywhere. It is a nicely packed down weaving, which is how it's supposed to be. So when you start your second piece or third piece or fourth piece, however many pieces of yarn that you can weave in, you start the same way every time. Basically, you completely ignore what you've already done and you start the same way each and every time. So you find the end of your yarn, spread it out so that you don't end up with a knotted up piece, and you start on the right side, start under, and work your way across just like you did the first piece of yarn. So remember, it was under, over, under, over, under, over, and then you take this like a snake in the grass and you pull it and let it slither its way across. Remember, if it kind of gets wadded up, take a moment and spread that out so that you don't end up with a knot. Because remember, they're really hard to undo once you have one. So remember, you pull until you have a teeny tiny piece sticking out. You bring it down and then you keep weaving. Remember, when you end, you always look at how you ended on whichever side you're on. So all of my yarn is now on the left side, so I look at how I ended on the left, which is over. My orange is over my yellow. So when I start back, I'm going to start back under. And I'm going to keep working and doing the same things back and forth until I weave in this piece of yarn completely. Remember, it's okay to pull kind of fast, but don't get tangles. And you see how I'm kind of putting my hand on the weaving so nothing's pulling real tight or anything like that as I'm going. And you bring it down. Remember, you're going to leave it loose on the edge, but not quite that loose. And you want to have it loose enough, remember, that you can move it with your finger, but not sticking way out. And then you just keep going. So I look over here, I ended over, so I'm going to start back under, and you just keep working your way across. And for each piece of yarn, you do the exact same process. You start on the right side, start under, and you just work your way across until you weave it all in, and then you pack it all down, and you keep working your way up with new pieces until it gets impossible to weave. And at that point, you're done.